Hello and welcome to this section. In this one, we will talk about a static website from an S3 bucket. As you know, in the S3, we can create a bucket and we can convert that bucket to a website. But this website is going to be a static website. So technically, S3 can act as a serverless static website. So when I'm saying it's serverless, it means we have a bunch of advantages. And these advantages are we don't care about the maintenance of this service. We are not managing any web servers and we are not taking care of any servers in these situations. There's no infrastructure for us to manage, and AWS will handle all the load balancing and scaling in the background for us. This is going to be a great way to run a website pretty fast from the AWS data centers. The only disadvantage that I can say here is just the static website, and it's not dynamic. So you cannot run any PHP or .NET or Java code from that website, and it's going to just show you something, and there's no interaction between your website and the end users. The steps that we're going to do is, I already built a very simple HTML content, so I'm going to give it to you in the resources, and it's available for you to download. Then we're going to create a bucket and make it publicly accessible. There are multiple ways to make it publicly accessible and also give the permission to files to be publicly accessible. So I'll show you multiple ways. And then we are going to upload the contents and enabling the static website feature, or called bucket hosting. And then we will try our website. So the way that we can try to access our website is through this URL format. And this is actually important for the exam perspective. It's http:// then your bucket name should be here, and we all know that the bucket names are unique, and then .s3-website then your region like US West 2 for example, and then .amazonaws.com. Okay, so let's jump to the AWS console and start configuring a very quick website. Okay, I am in the AWS management console and I'll go to the storage part, S3. So for the purpose of this demo, I'm going to create a brand new bucket and start testing on that one. So let's click on create bucket, give it a name, like I put ITrepo-test here, just as an example. It's going to be in US West Oregon, and I don't go through the details for any configurations, just hit create to create the bucket. So now we have the ITrepo-test here. So make sure that you understand the access right now. It says bucket and objects not public. This is the default settings in AWS for the security purposes, because there were so many incidents before that people put objects in the S3 buckets and they were publicly accessible. So S3 is going to block everything by default. For enabling this feature, first of all, just select your bucket and go to edit public access settings. And by default, there is a block public access settings. This settings is preventing us for enabling or giving public access to any objects. So go ahead and remove this check marks and then hit save, and then you have to type confirm to make sure that this is working. And you can see how serious AWS is related to these settings, because if you change this one, this means that potentially you can create publicly accessible objects, or you can change a bucket to be publicly accessible. So right now it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that we have access to this bucket from internet, but it means potentially we can do this, because right now the public access settings is disabled. Go ahead and download those files that I provided in the resources as the source of the HTML codes. So there is a folder. If you extract it, there's a folder called static website example, and there is one error.html file and one index.html. So I'm going to open these two files quickly in the Visual Studio Code to double check how they are configured. So let me open so first of all, index.html, it's very simple. It has just simple HTML code with the title welcome to ITrepo website demo. And then in the middle of the website, I put hello and welcome to ITrepo website. And then there is an image file. There's just a picture, and the source of the image is, if you look at this one carefully, it is going to be in AWS in another bucket called ITrepo images, and there is this image. So I provided this one publicly accessible for anyone to use it. And there's another page for the error HTML, and the title is error page. And it's pretty simple, just the body and h1 for the header, and we can't find the page you're looking for. And there's another picture called error-pic. Basically, if everything works fine, we should be able to see the content of the website and those pictures, okay? Go ahead and upload these contents to your new bucket, the one that you've just created. Hitting upload and add files, selecting these two files and hit open to upload them here. And I simply click on upload to make sure that they are here. So now the files are here, and if you remember, we disabled the public accessible settings. But if I go to this index.html, and even if I try to access directly to this file, will get access denied error. And the reason for this is if I go back again for security purposes, AWS, if I go to the permission tab, AWS is going to remove everyone public access here. So I can do this. I can select everyone and select this read object and hit save. And I can go back to the overview and now reopen this URL. And now you can see that I can open this file, which is this index.html. So this is one way of doing this. I'll just go back and remove it to show you another way. So I'm removing this one. So we're going back to the same old access is denied error. So another way is when you select a file, if you're in the overview, there are multiple ways. There is a make public option here, or let's say you are on the file, you can select the file, you can right click, and then there is a make public option here, or you can select the file, go to the action, make public here. It doesn't really matter. So there are multiple ways. Even if you click on the file, there's a make public option here. If you click on this one, if it's success, go to permission, you can see that's the same thing. It's going to put the read object for everyone in the permissions tab, right? So don't forget that if you forgot to disable the block public access, then you will get an access denied error when you are changing the permissions on the files. So let's show you quickly this one. I'm going to click on the block public access and then hit edit here. And here I'm going to select this check mark, and simply it means I'm going to block all public access. If I hit save here, I need to type confirm again. This is just for showing you how the system is working. Now the public access settings, it is actually blocking all public access. So if I go back to my files now, so index.html, this one is fine. Now let's change the error.html to the public. And look at here, what is going on? I can't actually change this one. I can't make it public because of this actual settings here, the block public access, because this is on. When this is on, I cannot make my file public. If I even go to the this file, there's no make public option here too. If I go to permission and select the everyone and manually try to give read permission to this object and hit save, I will get access denied. So everything is depend on the block all public access settings. So these settings will override the other ones. If this is on, you cannot change anything. You cannot give any public access to any objects or your bucket. So if you disable this one, then it means potentially now you are able to give public access to the objects, but it's a matter of going to the files and make them publicly accessible. So one by one, I'll show you the options, right? And this one, which is right now enabled. Or another option is through the policy, which is recommended by AWS too. So instead of going to your file one by one and make them public, which is really impossible in case you have so many files on your website. So instead of doing this, you can go to the policy and configure the policy. Before going to the policy, let's change this one. And I want to remove the permission from the one that we've just added. So this means that there is no permission at all, right? If I click on index, I will get access denied now. And same thing for my error file. So there's no public accessible permission on them. Okay, cool. So now what I would like to do is I click on my repository. I'll go to the permissions tab, and there is a bucket policy option here. Click on the bucket policy. Here you can define a very, very simple policy related to all of your objects inside your bucket, and then you can say I want this bucket to be publicly accessible, which makes sense. When you want to build a website, all of the contents should be publicly accessible. All the people around the globe, they should be able to get your objects, read your and see your website contents. So for doing this, there are multiple templates out there. You can copy paste them here, but simply you can generate one policy. Just go ahead and click on policy generator on a new tab, select your policy type, which is S3 bucket policy, and our effect is allow and principal. Basically we want to do it for all the principal. So put an asterisk here. Or AWS services Amazon S3, and for the action in a dropdown, go ahead and try to find get objects. So just scroll down and you should be able to see get object. So select this one, and then you need Amazon resource name or ARN of your bucket, which is something like this format: ARN, column AWS, column S3, and then your bucket name, and then your subdirectories and files. So you can put your bucket name here, or you can go back to the previous tab. You should be able to find your ARN here. So just copy and paste this one here. And then I put slash and one asterisk at the end to make sure that we are having access to all the contents in our bucket. So click on add a statement, And this is our summary, and click on generate policy. And this is basically the one that you need. Just go ahead and copy and paste this one here. After doing this, click on save. Then you should be able to see the public badge here. It says that this bucket now has the public access permission. Anything inside that bucket is publicly accessible. Let's give it a try. Go to the overview, click on the index.html, and click on the link. And now, voila, you can see the content. And we didn't configure any permission on this file, right? So we didn't click on the make public this time. So if we go to the permission, you can see there is nothing here actually. There's no ACL configuration. It is coming, the permission is actually coming from the policy, not from the access list and the permissions on the file. Okay, cool. Now our bucket is publicly accessible. We have our files here. And now what we just need to do is we enable a static website or bucket hosting on the bucket itself. So go ahead and go to the properties of your bucket. So I'm on the bucket. Again, from the scratch, you can go to your bucket and you can see now it's publicly accessible. And the reason is you are seeing this, it means that first of all, the public access settings is disabled. And second of all, you have objects with the public accessible ACL or policies that it allows your bucket to be publicly accessible. That's why we're seeing this. So go ahead and click on your bucket, go to the properties, and there is an option called static website hosting. Click on this one, and then you select the first one, which it says use this bucket to host a website, and it needs your index document and any error document. So you can put the name here. So it doesn't matter, I use index and error, but you can use whatever you like. So index.html and error.html. And the rest are optional, and this is actually our URL to our website. Is http://itrepo-test, which is my bucket name.s3-website, which is by default in the URL, and then your region, which is for me it's US-West2, and then Amazon AWS.com. So I copy this one to my clipboard and hit save. Now my static website is up and running, so I can go to a new tab and paste my URL here and hit enter. And my website should work. And yes, we can see our website. This is my content. And if I make any mistakes here, like, I don't know, any error, I'll go to the error page. So this is my error page. So you can use the same code and you have access to these pictures. You can upload in your S3 bucket and just give it a try to see how this static website feature is working. This is a brilliant feature, an awesome feature, and you can leverage this one to enable millions of access to your website. You can put content like video and animations, whatever you want to show to your end users if they have large capacities. So it's a good idea to use the S3 bucket for these purposes. Don't forget that this is just for static websites, no dynamic contents. And my recommendation again is to use policy for giving public access to your objects, and do not mess around with the access controls and permissions individually. Thank you very much for watching this section, and I'll see you in the next one.